associated at the moment of the DHS. Just as in a still photo taken with a flash but without being aware of it, when the DHS occurs, the human beings as well as animals pick up the smallest accompanying details such as sounds, smells, sensations, or taste and store these imprints for life. If at a later time the patient sets on such a track, the whole conflict can become reactivated, resulting in a relapse. Should I continue, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Together with the main DHS track, 5 or 6 side tracks accompanying circumstances that are considered important can be set simultaneously. It is important to understand that one can also set from one of the side tracks onto the main track. That is why we call them tracks. We human beings regard these tracks as pathological. We consider them as allergies that have to be fought, or we call them hay fever, asthma, neurodermatitis, etc., and use it to describe randomly different conflicts in very different phases, along with their physical and cerebral symptoms.
Okay. You followed. Now let us see the practical understanding of or the practical manifestation of this. Because the first law is saying that the first criteria is saying that there is a program. The program we are calling is a getting caught on the wrong foot. That program will simultaneously act on 3 phases or 3 parts of the body. One is the psyche, the brain, and the associated organ. All of them are connected, correct? Are you all with me?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, let us see how this one really impacts us. Let us listen to this person. He is talking about how we can identify what these tracks are.
Hi everybody, I am Mike the Heal Your Gut Guy, and today we're going to talk about how to identify and neutralize tracks. And this is from German New Medicine, tracks. And now if you're suffering from Crohn's or colitis, you cannot heal from Crohn's or colitis if you do not identify these things. It is literally impossible. You can do everything else correct. It is impossible to heal from Crohn's and colitis and a lot of your other digestive issues if you do not understand tracks and you do not know how to identify them and neutralize them. It is very easy. This is like something you can do from like the comfort of your own couch. It is very easy to heal your gut if you understand this. It is impossible to heal your gut if you don't understand this. Literally, when I understood this, and it's very easy, it's just going to take me a few minutes to explain, I went from being stuck on a boring, bland diet to eating whatever I want in days. Super easy. Super, super, super easy. So first we have to understand what a track is. So tracks get established at the moment of the DHS, at the moment of the conflict shock, this shocking event that turned on our significant biological program, special program of the gut. Let's say with the small intestine or the colon, you get this indigestible morsel, or maybe it's the greater curvature of the stomach. So we have this indigestible morsel conflict that we experience it as an indigestible morsel. Let's say we thought we did really well on a test, and then we get it back and there's a big fat F on it for failure. I lived in a state where they would give you an E. It's kind of stupid. But anyways, so this is something that could potentially catch someone off guard. For some people, like the class clown or whatever, they just be like, whatever, school's stupid anyway. Or, some, straight A student, they get this, oh my God, I'm no longer valedictorian. Oh my God, I'm going to be digging ditches for the rest of my life. This could be a very stressful event that catches people off guard. If this happens in college, I mean, that could be like thousands of dollars out the window. You could lose your scholarship. Like, this could be a very stressful event for somebody. So what's instantly going to happen when this happens is the brain is in this hyper state of awareness. So it's going to pick up on other components in the environment. So what are some things that are in the environment at the moment this stressful situation is unfolding? So it might pick up on the color red. It might pick up on the letter F. Maybe we're science. Maybe this is like a grammar test. So maybe like anytime something grammar related comes up, it activates the track, or that's like encountering a track. Maybe every time you feel judged, that's like my judgment hammer. Maybe it's every time you see a teacher or experience, you see a teacher, that's a red ruler. Maybe there's pollen in the air. Maybe it's spring or summer and there's a particular type of pollen in the air. So it really could be anything. And but what happens is with people with Crohn's and colitis and other digestive issues, so let's say this is what this bad grade activated this biological special program. And what happens is, they resolve it, maybe they talk to the teacher and they get the grade boost, they're able to retake the test or they get over it, whatever, it gets resolved, and then they start to get the symptoms. They they're in the healing phase, and so, they start getting all this diarrhea, bloody diarrhea, they're getting rid of that extra gut cell tissue they don't need anymore. The cell removal phase is the conflict active phase. Cell proliferation is the conflict active phase. It's trying to help you digest this indigestible morsel. And then when it gets resolved, we're in the healing phase, we're getting rid of these things, and so we're having diarrhea, and we're literally sitting on the toilet with this diarrhea, and we're going, what did I eat today that's giving me diarrhea? Oh, I had bread. Oh, I had dairy. Now these things, so you can extend tracks when you set on a track. So let's say later you see the color red, or you feel judged, or you feel like a failure, whatever your track might be. It could be an emotion, it could be a thing you see, you smell. It could literally be anything that is related to the original conflict. So the way it gets extended is, so you're in the healing phase and you're sitting on the toilet crapping your pants, crapping your brains out, and you're trying to think to yourself like, hey, what's causing this diarrhea? And you're thinking about all these different foods that you ate that day, and usually the first thing people come to is dairy and gluten. That's what they're going to blame, because that's what that's what's popular today. And so when you set on a track, that's when you can establish more tracks. So you're sitting on the toilet and you're thinking about what's dangerous, what could have caused this, and so that's how the foods start to get registered as tracks. And I've seen people go down this road to where they can only tolerate like 4 different foods. They're allergic to water, they're allergic to vitamin A foods. I mean, it just gets really ridiculous, all the food allergies that develop because of extended tracks. And now what you need to do to neutralize these tracks is first identify them. The big part is identifying them. So diarrhea is very easy to identify. It literally happens moments after you experience the track. So for me, I had Crohn's disease, and that has more of the conflict shock that activates there is frustration or anger. It's like something you're angry or frustrated about. So my track was whenever I felt overwhelmed or angry or frustrated, I would like instantly need to use the bathroom. So I found that track very fast, and all I had to do was tell myself like, hey, it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be frustrated. I'm safe. I could also, it's not avoiding being frustrated for the rest of your life, because that's impossible. You know, there you could handle those situations better, which is good to do, because it's not good to be like frustrated and let your emotions run out of control. Because if you do that, it's not a track. You're like creating like another conflict. You could be like creating like another conflict shock. But you need to tell yourself that it's okay. It's okay to feel judged. You get judged every single day, and a lot of times you could change your perception so you don't feel like you're being judged all the time. If you see the color red and that makes you go to the bathroom, you say, hey, look, the color red is safe. You know, the letter F is safe. When I feel judged, it's okay. I'll be all right. Whenever you see your teacher again, maybe they are a jerk. I don't know, but maybe they got their whole thing going on. They don't really know or care half the time. So again, guys, I know it sounds crazy simple, and I'm kind of done talking, but your symptoms come on right after. Like if your symptoms are immediate and kind of come out of nowhere and seem random, those are normally tracks. Things that have been hanging around for a long time, things like eczema and diarrhea and blood and mucus and like random gut pain that just like comes and goes for years and years and years, those are tracks. You are stuck in a hanging healing because you keep encountering tracks, and you have to identify them and neutralize them. And you can literally once you identify them, you can literally neutralize them in minutes. I like to write down 5 things why this thing is safe. You got to convince your subconscious that these things are safe. You've been brainwashed by YouTubers. Even some of my old videos are guilty of doing this, that these things are not safe. And they are safe. You are not allergic to energy and nutrients. You're not. From a survival standpoint, it makes absolutely no sense to be allergic to energy and nutrients when it's in nature. It's quite rare to come by. So, yeah.
Yes, guys. Did you follow what that is?
Yes, sir. But I have a comment.
Pardon? Yeah.
So, here the situation is like, see, this is similar to a situation where one of those Rajnikant movies, the heroine gets hiccups whenever she is questioned or there is a surprise or something like that, right? So, so what is, surprise here is you are not going to the root cause of getting a grade E. Okay. Either it is noticed or never noticed. Okay. Which was the root cause. But then you are looking at the root cause as either looking at a red color or a letter F or something like that, right? If in a US situation, typically, if you identify that reason, you will be referred to a psychiatrist. Hey, why are you getting this symptom? Because when you look at it, okay. And
But
they will
the
go through the
symptom
anxiety
itself,
medicines. Yeah.
correct, sir. Here, just let us take cognizance of the fact that, right, we will store that for a little bit, because this
Okay.
was basically when an impact happens, there are multiple entities that we take cognizance of, the body takes cognizance of. Do you understand what I'm meaning by that? We take cognizance of and the body takes cognizance of. Why am I saying that? Are you and your body the same?
No, it depends on no.
Right? We need to first be aware that we are a community of cells. that has come together to form a body. Are you with me when I make that sentence?
Can you elaborate to that, please? See, this is, I can go to a few other examples also. Like, one of my, nieces, she developed peanut allergy. Like, you have been eating peanuts since childhood. Now, how can, at the age of 24 or 25, how can you develop peanut
Precisely.
allergy?
Someone told her and she has developed these tracks.
Yeah, right. And my daughter has suddenly declaring herself as a lactose intolerant. What? You've been drinking milk since my childhood, right? How can you become
Exactly.
lactose intolerant now?
See, that is how you are taking your wisdom from
Yeah,
every incident.
right.
Right? Now see, when I said you are this at the lowest level,
Mm, okay.
and
Yeah,
collectively you are this.
right.
Collectively you are this at the cell level, you have a tissue level, you have an organ level, you have a system level, and you have a defined level.
Right.
Any one of these is a point where you can introduce a variation.
Yeah.
That is what I mean by a track. We start thinking that what we think here will also have a ripple effect in the reverse order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They are all interconnected. Yes?
that is true. Yeah.
Right. So we have got one way, you have got the reverse, and you have got multiple ways, because I can introduce a variation at any of these gray points.
Hmm.
All with me or no one with me?
No, but where I am afraid is like, some these even at a level where like looking at red color or things like that, it is even difficult to go back to that sub cause. Okay, if I can call it, right?
No, I didn't understand.
No, I understand. I mean, what I mean to say is like this person, he is always associating diarrhea with what he ate, food he ate, milk or the bread or whatever. But he can never. It is very difficult to take your thoughts to a level where, hey, I saw a red color and that is giving me a diarrhea. That's what I mean by that. It is difficult to go to that sub cause.
No, see, that is how the human mind works. But if
Yeah,
you understand how the mind works,
right.
how will you handle this situation?
Going back to the thought level.
You
Yeah,
will
yeah,
let the thought not impact you.
yeah, right.
You will get the thought,
Hmm.
but you will not be taken off guard.
So, sir, in the video, he talked about, say, giving 5 reasons to your mind, subconscious mind.
Correct. So you are again applying the tablet of optimal diet only to overcome,
Correct. Correct.
right?
Yes.
Instead of giving too much weightage. Now, I mean, this is where in the spiritual path people say live in the moment.
Right.
Right?
When you say
So,
live in the moment, enjoy the diarrhea.
no.
Oh,
See,
no,
don't
no, no,
give
no. We have to
weightage
be
to
aware
it.
also at the same time.
And see, this is the first criteria, right?
Uh-huh.
What is that criteria telling you? It is telling you that event moves on to become, you take the event and then you do this, right? You build the
Yeah.
CKD structure,
Yeah.
completely knockdown structure,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we search for this is what is the inquisitive mind, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. You are always searching for a reason, you don't find it, so you are continuing to search.
Mm.
What is the next one? Then you start analyzing the right. Every cause you will take and try to analyze.
Yeah.
But what are you doing? This act of yours is creating multiple focused on the yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That means you are creating a chain of actions within your mind, which is generating new and new new and new thoughts aligned to your deviation. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Right? That means you are empowering what you should not, which means you are prolonging the ongoing what?
Ongoing repetition of the same.
Correct. That
Yeah.
is
Disease. Yeah. Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let us understand the impact of doing this. Okay. That means we are going to the second criteria. Anybody wants to read this?
Sir, I can read.
Yeah, continue.
The biological conflict determines at the moment of the DHS the location of the hammer focus HH as well as the location of the cancer or cancer equivalent disease on the corresponding organ. At the
Okay.
moment of the
Stay at
DHS,
this. No.
okay.
Stay on this. What does this mean? Right? What does this mean? Okay. How is that energy traveling within us? Every experience. How is it traveling within us? Did you understand what I am asking? Did you
You showed
understand?
the flow the other day. You showed us the flow, right?
Correct.
The in
Correct.
yeah, in both directions. Yeah.
Right? It is
Yeah, this
going
picture.
through and imagine these being multiple cells. that make up you as an individual. When I say that make up you, right? You are going back to our original. You are going back to this. Every cell that you have which is influenced is making up, correct? Which is going through these stages in the body, which is passing and becoming the raw material that is replenishing all these components. Okay? Are you all with me? Right? So, that means you are having the thought level, you have got the brain level. Thought is the action of the brain. The brain is connected to every organ in the body by virtue of it could be the nervous system or it could be the environment. When I say the environment, endocrine system is a very key component. Yes or no?
Sir, one question I have here. So you are talking of, you mentioned the brain, psyche, and the associated organ, right?
Correct.
So how is the associated organ identified or decided?
That is what I was trying to show. When your thought, which is an energy,
Yeah.
is circulating throughout the body,
Mm-hmm.
how is it circulating?
Left to right, right to left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Left to right, right to left. Okay. Anything else?
Through energy centers.
Through energy centers, yes. Through your
Top to
nervous
bottom.
pipes. Your physical, there is the physical entity and then there is the non-physical entity, correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the physical entity here?
The blood vessels,
Oh,
the
I see.
nerves,
Hmm.
right? They
Okay.
are all the physical entity, right? That is connecting the body
Yes,
and all
yes.
that. Through
Yes,
them
yes,
is
yes.
passing your, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So now,
But with our
when they
right
are
thoughts and
interconnected, when they
but
are
with our right
inter,
thoughts and meditation, uh, again we can change the components in that blood vessels and the nerves.
correct.
Okay.
But if you
Hmm.
know that you can change it, you can act on it.
Hmm.
Till then, you are continuously searching for what is the reason? Why is this happening to me? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And with your ignorance or arrogance, you are obstructing. Yes?
Sir, even if we are doing same meditation or whatever, we still, we still think, right? That's part of the process, that why is this thing
Correct. You
happening?
can think. The first time you take a hammer and strike something, it is not necessary that it breaks, right?
Yeah.
So
What's up,
you
my
are bringing in
question?
the definition for tolerance here.
Yeah. So, but my question was, how, we can think of something, the same thing which the
Correct.
guy was
But if
explaining
you
there.
can withstand it, anything you do you think the thought will impact you?
No, but my question, sir, was that, like in the case, like Ramakrishna sir was saying, or even that guy was saying, we can come up with answers, or we may come up with answers which are not right. They might not be the real cause. We are just thinking them as cause. So
So you
how
are
do we
creating
know that?
additional tracks.
Yeah. So how do we
Correct.
know that this is the real cause or this is not the real cause?
How will you know? That is where wisdom comes into picture. Till you recognize that you are feeding the disease phase.
Right.
Right? The moment you recognize it, rest of it is
Healing.
the healing phase. And
Yeah.
symptoms are visible for the healing phase or during the healing phase.
But the recognition is very difficult. I mean, it's very difficult. It's like finding a small wo rice ka dana in a big go down.
Rice ka dana in a big go down. If you have the wisdom, if you have developed the attitude, if you have developed the interest to take the bull by the horns, you will find the answer. Otherwise, you will go to a
Absolutely.
doctor and the doctor says,
Mm.
oh, this one, they have a lifelong, you have to go with medication. Finish. He has introduced one more track to our already overburdened tracks. Right? Yes or no?
Yes. 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 Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What
So when will you
Nivedita ma'am
heal?
said, yes, is correct, and what you said is also correct.
Right? So you need to keep on trying to define that or the easy way out. Okay. I don't give any energy to that thought. I don't resist it. Okay. I realize if I think spiritually, I have come here for a purpose. Am I going along the purpose or am I deviating? If I have deviated, I have to get a warning. The warning is my skin rash. Rather than trying to analyze this, you will try to analyze saying that I know this would happen. The cause for this is I have deviated. Where have I deviated? Right. So you will look at the symptom and say, oh, I am healing. Rather than saying the symptom is what I have to treat. You don't have to treat the symptom. The symptom is a message to you as per this criteria. Got it?
Something like, sir, I've seen people, they get fever or something and they don't take medicine because they say it's naturally healing and in 3 4 days it will
Exactly.
go off.
Exactly. Right? That is why they say, right? If you get cold, if I give you medicine, it will go away in 7 days. If I not, it will go away in a week. Yeah, Lakshmi.
So, sir, is this what they call a healing crisis?
I don't know.
So in
In what
Ayurveda and all,
context? Because without context, I will not be able to give you a comment.
okay, sir. So in Ayurveda, they usually say that when you start treating the illness, it will first become worse before it becomes better. So that becoming worse is called a healing crisis.
Probably.
That's the way I understand it.
Because
That's the way I understand.
they are advancing the process of healing.
Yes.
Working along those lines rather than resisting.
Yes.
Probably, yes. Right. So now let us understand that. Yeah, Nivedita, continue.
At the moment of the DHS, a meaningful biological special program (SBS) is switched on that runs synchronously in the psyche, the brain, and on the organ. In theory, we use these three levels as a helpful tool for diagnosis and therapy. In reality, these three levels constitute one single unit. Each
Your
conflict has
ECW, your units of ECW. Have you followed? The energy, consciousness, and wisdom. Likewise, you have got where they correspondingly act. They act at the mind level, the psyche level, and the body level or the organ level. Yeah, proceed.
Each conflict has a very specific content that is defined at the moment the DHS occurs. The conflict content is determined in association, which means that it happens unconsciously, bypassing our consciousness. We think that we think. In reality, the conflict has already associatively hit a fraction of a second before we even began to think.
Right. This is what you were saying, Nivedita.
What, sir? I am not able to actually follow this para. What?
No. We think what we think. We think we know about it.
Yes, yeah. But we
Right.
actually might not
In
be thinking
reality,
right.
the conflict has a. So whatever you are thinking, whether you know or not, that is consciously or unconsciously, the background system of survival has kicked in because of the nature of the cell.
Right. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Right? That is what it means.
Okay.
Yeah.
The unexpected shock leaves a mark in the brain, which is visible on a computer tomogram of the brain.
Yeah.
Such a ring lesion is called a hammer focus, German Hammerscher Herd. The term was actually coined by my opponents who mockingly named the ring formations the dubious hammer foci. These foci look like a set of concentric rings similar to what we observe when skipping a stone on water.
Okay. When you throw a stone in water, it has a ripple effect, right?
Right.
That is forming a ring. Each of them is a ring, correct? Each ripple.
Right.
Yeah. So let us go further.
Every conflict is linked to a specific organ as well as to a very specific part of the brain, from where the process on the organ level is controlled and directed. The changes in the brain are visible at the very second the DHS occurs. Hammer focus HH in ring form configuration at the beginning of the healing phase.
So the moment, see, what will you do? Just look at it this way. You stand on one side and suddenly you find that it is a slope. Something is slipping. What will you do?
Try to grab something and
One
so
is
that
grab
it
Fix our
will
something
position.
or change the way and the angle in which you are standing.
Yeah, we
right,
fix our
right.
position. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now why are you doing that? Because all your cells, muscles are coordinated towards coming back to normalcy, correct?
Yeah.
Which is
It's
your
kind of
survival
trigger
mechanism that is triggering all that,
yeah, survival mechanism. Yes.
correct? Likewise, every cell that is there inside you has got its own survival mechanism.
Yeah,
That,
that's true.
correct? So now, this we will skip because, okay, it leaves a mark that is enough for us. Because we are not going to apply this technique. Okay?
Okay,
Are
sir.
you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay? So now let us see what happens. We don't need the brain map and all that. So, going back to this diagram, now you have introduced a disturbance at one of these stages, correct? through that process, have you introduced a disturbance at one of these stages? Is one of the gray element changing? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. But Ramakrishna sir's that question stands, sir. Which organ will be affected? How is that determined?
That is determined. Even if you want to go into that, right? You need to understand how to read a tomography, and you need to know the connection between a particular area of the brain and a particular organ. Now, from a
Okay.
spiritual perspective,
Yeah.
which is the chakra that is getting impacted? You know which organ is associated with which chakra, right?
Yeah. Roughly, yes.
Right? So that region, if it is impacted, you have to first fine-tune that chakra. What are you doing when you are fine-tuning the chakra?
Healing at all the levels, actually.
Exactly. That is healing at all the levels. This is basically trying to understand which one is the one that you have to work on.
Right. Yes.
Okay. So not treat the healing phase as a disease promotion phase. Okay. Let's go back. Yeah. So during this phase,
Sir, we have to read it.
yeah,
Okay. During
either
this
you read
phase,
or I
there
will
is
read. That doesn't matter. One of
no,
us.
no. I will read, sir. During this phase, there is temporary swelling of the brain, which can cause problems. Example: if the conflict has lasted too long, or when the brain edema is located in an unfavorable location, or when the HH shows an intra and perifocal edema. The edema on the organ and on the correlating HH in the brain grows particularly large with a simultaneous kidney collecting tubule water retention conflict, which we call the syndrome. At this point, the HH requires more room, consequently indenting surrounding brain tissue or pushing it out of the way.
Okay, wait. Now there is a natural mechanism of survival, right? Every component has got its own natural restoration process. What is happening? There is a problem. Okay? If the conflict is lasting too long, that means if you are feeding the conflict, because till the conflict resolution is over, the body is still trying to fight on its own to resolve the matter. Till that resolution happens, right? You are changing the environment within. Are you able to relate to that sentence? All of you? Why there is absolute silence?
Sir, it will be nice if it could be read again, once again, that sentence.
Now you can. During this phase, when there is a particular change that has got caused or is recognized by the brain, that when it is located, it could be the frontal lobe, it could be from the memory, it could be the medulla oblongata, it could be the, what you call, the connectivity, right? One of that is going to have a changed environment within. Okay? We may not be able to recognize it. It may be conscious, unconscious. Now, that is connected to an organ, and it is also connected to your psyche. This much all of you have followed?
Connected to the psyche means?
Psyche is your mind, your thoughts.
So everything in the body is connected to the thoughts also.
Obviously, everything is triggered by the thoughts. Everything, the moment something happens, also you recognize, right? So all of them, so the impact of an event is felt at 3 locations when we try to divide them, but actually it is only one. All of them are interconnected at all times. Okay. How that acts is during this active phase, that means when that is triggered, right? This can cause a swelling in the brain. Okay. That is one of the change that you are seeing. What is edema? Edema is swelling and collection of water, both. Right? If the conflict has lasted too long, or when the brain edema is located in an unfavorable location, or when the HH shows an intra and perifocal edema. So these are all medical terms. We don't need to give weightage. Basically, they are effect. The edema on the organ and the correlation in the brain grows particularly large with a simultaneous. So here he is giving his example. It is going up to the kidney because the entire system, you cannot, there are 2 components to it, right? One is the voluntary, the other one is the involuntary.
Yes, sir.
In the nervous system, you have the voluntary system and you have the involuntary system. Can you control the involuntary system?
No.
To control the involuntary system, this is your circulatory forces. Those that you can control and those that you can't control. Both are there.
Yes.
Why is it? I think from tomorrow all cameras should be on, because otherwise people are, I don't know whether they are listening, they are not listening, because I don't see any comments, I don't hear anything.
Sir, we are listening.
Yeah, we are listening, sir.
No, I
Actually,
don't know. I don't know. I have to believe you.
Yes,
this
believe us.
this
Sir,
topic
Right?
is
we
also a
can
little bit
tell,
more
sir,
challenging to
sir,
understand.
the acid creates those edemas on the organs or brain.
No. Basically, what he's trying to tell you is you have introduced a change. You have introduced a disturbance.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Right? So you are prolonging the disease active phase. Till you
Yes, sir.
let the disease active phase run out, the next phase will not start. Okay? So what is it doing? At this point, requires more room. HH requires. That means whatever is that incident that is triggered, right? It requires more room. Consequently, indenting surrounding brain tissue or pushing it out of the way. Now what is happening? Now let us see what's happening in the brain. This is in the organ area, right? You got it?
Yes,
This
sir.
is in the
Because of
organ
HH in the
area. Now he
brain,
is
there was
telling
edema in
you,
the organ.
correct, right? This is the organ side. This is the brain. What is happening in the brain?
In the brain, both phases conflict active phase and resolution phase have the HH at the same location. They
That
are,
means they are
however, in
focused
different
at the
conditions.
same location.
Conflict active phase and resolution phase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ah,
They are, however, in different conditions. During the conflict active phase, the HH appears as a sharp ring configuration, while during the resolution or healing phase, the HH appears as swollen, edematous, and dark. At the end of the healing phase, so-called glia, harmless brain connective tissue is stored at the site, participating in repairing the HH.
okay.
Sir, what is this? HH is just a vibration,
It's
right?
a focus,
Or is
right?
it something
HH
else?
is, well, what it is a name that he has given. The unexpected
Yeah,
shock
so
leaves a
name to what?
mark
A
in the
vibrate?
brain, which is a visible on a computer
Okay,
tomograph. Such
okay,
a ring lesion is called a HH. Okay.
okay, okay.
The disturbance registered, the pattern that is registered in the brain is what he is calling HH. The impact of that pattern is at two places, the organ and the psyche. Okay. Which will act at the
So,
brain
sir,
level and
I'm
the organ level.
sir, I'm just thinking. I mean, sometimes, for example, if at home only, or sometimes in office, some conflict occurs and it continues for days. It happens
That
that
means
something.
you are continuing that. The impact of
Yeah,
that, which is felt at two places, will keep continuing till you have let that go away.
yeah. But in between, there will be pauses. Like if we are in meditation that time, or we go for some entertainment, or we sleep, during all those times, there will be pauses because then we are not thinking about it.
You are letting that go.
Yeah.
You are reducing the impact to bringing it to tolerance level.
Right. So does that mean during that time the healing process will switch on or no?
No, the active phase will come down. That means it is getting resolved. The moment that active phase is over, you will start experiencing the healing phase.
Okay.
That means
So
you have restored the equilibrium, the homeostasis, as they call.
okay. So is it like during sleep the homeostasis comes
No,
and
during sleep, what is happening is the conscious mind is not there. Your internal pattern will follow the parasympathetic nerve experience, and that pattern will drive the system to do what it is ideally supposed to do.
okay. So kind of all the tensions are therefore soothed out at that time.
If you have found it, I mean, if you have found the root cause, if you are not, maybe you may still keep on thinking about the root cause.
Oh, unconsciously we are still thinking, you are saying like
Correct.
that?
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So let's go.
The white dense glia,
So this is
HHS,
leaving a dark patch, he said, correct? That
healing,
tissue
healing.
has left a pattern. It has formed a tissue.
Yeah,
Right.
at the end
Let's
of
go for
healing.
it. Correct.
The white dense glia, HHS, which can be easily made visible in a computer tomogram using iodine contrast substance, indicate a repair process on the HH in the brain and are not at all a reason to panic.
Correct. So if you are taking this approach, that change in the tissue pattern when you are taking a tomograph or a tomogram, you will be able to decide, telling the person, okay, you can continue. Yeah, that means the healing process has started. Yeah, let's go further.
After the healing phase, the HH shows as a harmless scar, the end result of a successfully completed healing process. The glia rings are unfortunately misinterpreted as brain tumors, as glioma, astrocytoma, oligodendro,
Remember, you forget all
okay,
those words,
etc.,
and
and
are
are cut
cut
right
right
out
out to,
to the
yeah,
disadvantage of the patient. Since brain cells can no longer divide after birth, brain tumors do not really exist. Huh?
yeah.
So there's no brain tumor?
Actually, there is not. That is what, see, that swelling, etc., is part of the healing process, which we interfere with. Okay, let's understand
Sir,
this. Huh?
yeah. So how, I mean, so does that mean all surgeries that happen for brain tumor are not necessary?
They are done. It depends upon when it is done, to be realistic. Because surgeries in some cases will be required to protect the mechanism that is left. Understood?
Or like when it is obstructing some other functioning?
Exactly.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So that we can live without it. For example, my gangrene. Gangrene is already dead. Right?
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, saying that gangrene will heal, it again depends. Is it wet gangrene or dry gangrene? Dry gangrene means it is breakpoint. It is going to physically break on its own.
Oh,
And our mental condition also is that of fear at that moment.
okay.
So the doctor may decide that, okay, it is better that this person's survival is completely getting threatened, better I remove it. Okay, he will have a temporary shock and he will overcome the shock.
Okay, sir.
So, I'm not saying surgery is bad. Surgery may be necessary. But
Hmm.
this is a way to understand and see that it doesn't go that far.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, sir.
And we are limited only to the psychosomatic diseases. Please remember that.
We are limited means?
We are limited in this sense as counselors, as spiritual
Yeah, yeah.
counselors.
Huh.
This one, we have nothing to do with the medication.
Yes. We can only handle it from this angle, is what you're saying.
Correct, correct, correct. Okay, now see, this is an X-ray. He's just explaining it by means of an example. In this example, the patient, a farmer, had suffered DHS 6 months earlier when his only son had a serious motorcycle accident. Right? The son spent a long period of time in intensive care, and the patient thought that his son would remain physically disabled. So there was one track of an event and another track triggered by various means. But his son fully recovered. 4 weeks after the son returned to the farm, the father suffered a heart attack with dizziness, headaches, and balance disturbances. He suffered the heart attack after he resolved the conflict. What do you understand from this?
Fear.
No. What do you understand from after which is highlighted?
That is part of his healing, the father's emotional healing.
Correct. So till then he kept the heart attack was to protect the functioning of the heart. It was the heart's way of recovering itself.
Wow. Okay.
That's amazing, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
But sir,
Now,
people
if he
die during
keeps,
heart attacks sometimes.
pardon?
People die during some, like if it's a severe heart attack, they will die or something, right? It's so how is it a
No, if you had continued under stress, he would have definitely gone to that stage.
right? But the stress get
Wait.
resolved when the son is back and healthy. And after 4 weeks,
Right, but the damage has
Now, it
happened,
is
right?
only then that the stress came out as a heart attack. Otherwise, the stress would have continued in his body.
okay.
Okay. So suppose he had been a meditator, right? He would have looked at it from a completely different perspective.
So, sir, actually, the heart attack is a way of relieving the pressure.
Yes. That is because
So,
of the materialistic way of living. For example, if we are thinking spiritually, we have come here with a purpose. Maybe our purpose is over. So it is time for us to go. That is the spiritual way of decoding, correct?
Sir,
yes,
that is
sir.
correct. But sir, the thing is, I mean, usually it happens. I mean, I don't know, but at least with me, I feel that, and with many others, maybe I don't know. But it's like when something happens to the kids, we feel it more. I mean, kid in fever, then it's more difficult than me being in fever. So
Correct.
it's
But
like
how is
that.
it impacting you? Did you think about it?
Yeah, there's stress. Yes, yeah,
Right. After that stress, the kid has healed. You may feel the exhaustion.
right,
The exhaustion, if it is beyond the limits of tolerance of your body, it will take
hmm,
a toll. Otherwise,
right.
through your meditation and all that, you are in a position to release all this stress.
Right. So what do you recommend? I mean, in this case, because I can resonate. I mean, if someone's son is, in accident, a young son, obviously he will be in so much tension, and luckily the son came
Okay,
hale and
but
hearty.
with your tension, what I say may sound very theoretical. With your tension, are you helping the situation in any way?
Yeah, no. But then what should we
So
do? I mean, will
that is only
meditation
when you
help?
come from the level of a wisdom and an understanding, will you be able to take that position?
Right. So what wisdom? I mean, what should we apply there to pacify that stress at that time that we are taking for the kid? That's what I'm
What
thinking of.
did
What?
I apply when I
One is
lost 5 toes?
positive thinking, and the second one is um
Exactly.
yeah.
Is there
Another one is
something you can do about it?
positive thinking and who am I? All those things maybe.
Exactly. Correct.
And detachment also comes, but at the same time, he's a god also, the son. So it will be taken care.
Right? So, what is this telling? Basically saying that you need to know your limits because this is leading to a territorial conflict. Let's understand this. In the animal world, what is he saying? A male deer can also suffer a biological conflict. Example, a territorial loss conflict with angina pectoris during the conflict active phase. That means a disturbance to the heart. Okay. When his opponent drives him out of his territory, the ulceration in the coronary arteries that starts as soon as the conflict takes place widens the coronary vessel, which allows the double or triple amount of blood being carried to the heart. This enables the deer to wait for the right moment to fight his opponents and win his territory back. Okay. He only gets his vigor and strength because of the biological program is activated. Without it, he would not have been able to succeed. Were the deer be given tranquilizers, it would never be able to get his territory back. That is what he is saying. Did you people follow what he said?
So basically, the deer is constantly in a kind of a fighting mode, though not physically, to get back to her territory.
Correct. So when will it feel vanquished? Only when it has got back its territory.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Till then, he will live under the new paradigm.
Yeah. Sir, actually, I was thinking of an example like about 10 years ago, I was in a very important high profile project where the project manager used to work for 18 hours a day, something like for 1 year continuously. And the project was all done successful. She said, okay, I'm going to take 1 month off and don't talk to anybody. Okay, fine. She left, and within few days she developed pimples all over her face and body, and then she had a fever and all that. For 2 or 3 weeks she suffered.
Correct.
Her actually vacation plans were spoiled completely because of her ill health.
Correct.
So now when you're talking about the impact happening at the healing level, I'm thinking of correlating those two events.
No, the symptoms manifest only during the healing. If there is no symptom, then we need to be worried.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when you are seeing the healing phase, how do you promote the healing phase? That is where our spiritual tablets plays a role.
So in Ramakrishna sir's example, the lady having those whatever pimples or the body was kind of healing, the body needing some rest and healing.
The
Was it?
body responding while the healing phase, giving you signs. It is giving you signals. These you could correlate if you had taken a tomogram, which tells you what is the state of the tissue. Is it white? Is it dark, etc. around that brain region. Got it?
Yeah.
But here my interest is basically to highlight that if that is coming, you increase the meditative practice so that you you hasten the healing process. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Right. So that kind of wisdom to to hasten the healing process becomes very important. Okay, this is like you are eliminating the You are eliminating the ignorance of the individual, saying that, okay, if these are happening, increase these parameters of the healing. That means your separation, you bring it down. That's one of the profile exercise, right, Ramakrishna sir?
Sir.
No. When we
Sir, what
identify
kind of,
this,
sir,
pardon?
one question, sir. One thing, sir, one question. So what kind of healing, what should be done when the healing is happening? That we know that the healing is happening. And at that time, during that time, what are the precautions or what are the actions that we should
No,
take
what are the
with
fears
the
when
patient?
healing is happening of an
What,
individual?
what are the?
Potential fears.
Um, during healing, sir, during healing
Yeah.
process. I don't think so. The fear will be there. Fear will be for the symptoms.
No, you will look at the symptom. You are going to a doctor to treat the symptom, not your health.
Right, 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 right,
Right.
right.
So you
The
start
fear is going to.
visualization. So in your meditation, you start visualization.
Okay.
Right. That is why they are saying, right? I mean, we don't need medication. More than 80% of the diseases are curable without any medication.
Mm-hmm. Through
The
meditation.
medication is going to work as an obstruction, right?
Mm.
Sir, but
Now
like
look
in
at
case,
this. No. Now beautifully, right? Okay, now let us read this. This explains what we need to take cognizance of. You have to see that you are, as symptoms are coming, instead of their worry, we need to tell them, right? You let go this, you let go this, you let go this, and so on. What is this saying? For a man, his territory would translate into his business, his girlfriend, his family, his job, and so on. Right? We humans have several shared territories. Even a car can be a territory. With human beings, the heart attack is only noticeable when the conflict active phase lasted at least 3 to 4 months. Okay. However, if the conflict active phase lasted more than 9 months, the heart attack is usually fatal. What is the takeaway here? What is the takeaway from this?
We have to be aware of ourselves, and when there is tension, we have to learn to release it.
Correct. And when there is some stress which is prolonged for more than 3 to 4 months, then, right, we need to increase the meditative prescription that we give, the wisdom that he has to capture, and so on. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Clear? What is
Clear.
important? When there is a territorial conflict that an individual is undergoing, if it is a male, that means it is related to his business. His survival is getting threatened. His happiness is getting threatened. Right? Then,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Then what happens? Any territory, generally it could impact the heart. We should see that it is not for more than 3 months, first of all. Then he is disturbed. That means symptoms are already coming. You have to teach him how to let go that as fast as possible. Okay. Got it?
Okay, sir, here the question is like, what is the level of the symptoms that you are going to address within those 3 or 4 months, or how do we assess where are you in terms of the timeline?
See, that is where we need a doctor in our counseling group. Okay. Why do we need the doctor? Who can recommend the tomogram, etc.
Sir, so this German medicine also gives, I mean, they also recommend only meditation or they have some medicines?
Who?
This German new medicine, I mean,
German
what
new
do they
medicine
recommend?
is none of that. They have meditation, they have other exercises.
Oh, so they don't have any pills or any medicine as such. It's just
Yeah,
the
yeah,
name
yeah,
called German
yeah.
new medicine.
Right?
Okay.
Now, it is only telling you how to heal yourself. Right?
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
there is a difference between the myocardial infarct that is controlled from the cerebral medulla. Here, the conflict content is experienced as I am completely overwhelmed. The conflict active phase manifests itself as a necrosis of the myocardium. During the healing phase, and specifically during the epileptoid crisis, which indicates a crucial turning point, the epileptic heart attack or myocardial infarct is initiated. So here he is giving, this is more for a practicing doctor, whatever he is saying. Okay, so there could be a medical intervention. We don't know that. There could be a medical intervention also, but this is clearly giving you all the inputs necessary to identify what needs to be done. You could even tell the patient, no, go in for the surgery. Are you with me?
Yes, sir. So basically, in short, you are saying that when this, during the healing phase, when these symptoms come, for example, just take a simple example, say the pimples come, say, throughout the body or something, and it's in the healing phase, but that doesn't mean that we do not apply some ointments or something to soothe ourselves, like we should go ahead with the medical treatments, and then we should also do the other alternate medicine and meditation and all that.
Correct. Both are required. So this also tells us how the thought process, where to focus the energies of the individual when we are giving him a spiritual solution. Can you think of any particular case? So if you have got too much of stress, then you will probably tell him, apply circulatory forces and associated wisdom. Today, everyone is hiding behind closed screens, thoughts.
But I have to fix my camera. That's not working
No,
properly.
that's okay. I'm not worried about the camera. I'm just looking at people who are not participating in the discussion. I'm getting worried. Are they understanding what we are discussing? Or is this a tangential way?
No, sir,
No, we are
this is
understanding,
very
sir. We are
relevant. Yes.
understanding. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
So while medically there may be someone who is taking care of from the symptom perspective, we can hasten his healing.
So how do we do with the people who didn't come with the meditation, sir?
Pardon?
Work with who didn't come to this path.
I'm not able to hear you clearly.
How can we work with the people who didn't come to this path, like meditation or anything?
We have to initiate them and then hold their hands to take them through the meditative process. Let them not take too much unnecessary stress.
My husband got a heart attack, but he had a stunt. So when I say
but
he
then,
don't.
but
Physically,
then
it is fixed. Yeah,
it has been
physically,
physically fixed. Now, mental side of it has to be fixed.
otherwise it will come back again.
Is he controlling his stress? Has he eliminated what type of a conflict he underwent?
Usually he don't share anything.
That itself is a stress, right?
Yeah. I will share with so many people, even with him also, but he will not share anything.
Then he should have. See, then there are only two possibilities when you don't share. You are afraid the way it will impact the others. But you should know how and why you need to control it and how you can control it. Maybe he's doing meditation or something like that you may not be aware if he's not sharing.
He doesn't do meditation. I told him before what happens if I said nothing will happen. Like that he told past so many years back. He knows that I will do all these things and I'm
No, share
spreading
this
all that.
wisdom, Krishna Priya ma'am. Some people will get connected with wisdom actually, and especially.
But then it has to be their own realization.
Yeah, but giving this material will help them to come into the meditation path.
If he reads it and he understands, then he will be able to.
Okay. I can send that material or something.
Yeah, 4 types of healing are there. So energy healing and wisdom healing, and part of the game, and the last one is no.
I will send him.
Yeah.
It is his part whether he does it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our duty to give the information, right? So maybe wisdom level information will help him. It will help anyone actually.
Ma'am, like you can share, but I mean, just a small suggestion. I don't know, you know your situation the best, but during any informal talks, you can just share, I'm doing this and I came to know about heart attacks or talking this, that if the stress is for 3-4 months, then it's mild, but if the stress is for longer time, it's longer and this can be done. So, just share it, say maybe he's eating or you guys are just talking just in a natural tense and just let it pass so that the thought sits with him. And then how wonderful this thing is